Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, the new game by Cracking the Cryptic, the YouTube channel. Let's see, what should we play? Yeah, it's a killer. Let's look at a Thermo. I haven't done a Thermo in a while. So first off, Sudoku rules. Every box, row, and column is 1 to 9. That's definitely a column. You need those 4 cells. And each thermometer will increase. So this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that one's actually just a given. Nice. And now this can't be a 1 or a 2, so this has to be at least a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's a 3 or 4, that's a 4 or 5, that's a 5 or 6, 6 or 7, and then this actually has to be an 8, 9 at the finale because of the 7 being there. Yeah, that looks right. One and two. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is most likely a 3, but it could be a 3 or a 4. This could be a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, do any of these conflict? I don't see how they would conflict. Where does 9 go? For those unfamiliar thermos, it can only go at the end. Because if you try to put it in the middle, say this is a 9, you would need a 10 after it, which doesn't work. Can't put a 9 there. So in this square, 9 is also very restricted. It can only be in those 3 cells. In this square, it can only be in those cells. Actually, in these cells, because this 9. But in this one, it's very restricted. Therefore, where does a 9 go? If it can only go here, then these 2 rows 9s are accounted for. And then we know 9s can't go anywhere besides the end piece. And now 9 is restricted in here. And would you look at this logic? Where can a 9 go in this row? It can't go anywhere on the middle of the thermometer. Can't go here by Sudoku, so it's gotta be here. And now 9 is somewhere here. Probably figure that out later. 9's somewhere in here. 8's is a little bit restricted by Sudoku. I probably want to keep looking at Thermo logic here. One sec. One is a little bit restricted, but not too much. One in here is kind of restricted. Oh! Where does 1 go in here? It's gotta go in there. Where does 1 go in here? It's gotta go in one of these two. And then we get that this is a 1. Because 1 can't go there. That is very clever. It's kind of the same trick. Oh, does it keep going? Where does 2 go? Can only go here. Because this is a 5 or a 6, so that's gotta be a 2. And now this has to be a 1, because it has to be less than 2, and only 1 is less than 2. And I think we can keep going. This should be 3, 4... And then that's a 5, 6, I think. Because where does 3 go in here? It can't go here, because then this would have to be 2.5. So this has to be 3. And then by that same logic, where does 4 go? Can't go in any of these. Can't go here, because that would have to be 3.5. So that's a 4. Which gives a 5 here, 6 here, 7 here. And now this... I want to say it could be anything, but can it be an 8? Think about it, right? If this was 8, this would have to be a 9. This would have to be a 10. This is never an 8, so this must be the 8. Now I think it could be anything, because this could go 7, 8, 9. No, it can't. This can't be a 7, because I can't have a 9 at the end of this. This is an 8 at the most. Wow, what a cool puzzle, honestly. So this can't be 7, 8, 9, because the 9 would conflict. So this has to be the 7. Can this be 6, 7, 8? I think I'll allow it. But I still know this is 5 or 6, so this is 6 or 7, and this is 7 or 8. So it's still pretty restricted. I don't know if there's too much else. All right, there's one Thermo left I haven't really looked at. It's a 4-cell long, can't end with a 9. Can't have a 1, 2. Oh, this can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4. That's actually huge, right? Could be 5. It can't be 6. That's so amazing. If this was 6, it would be 6, 7, 8, 9, and the 9 would conflict. So that's got to be a 5. And then I think it just keeps going, right? 6, 7, 8. Because if this was a 7, 8, 9, the 9 would conflict. So that's got to be 6, 7, 8. And now where does 8 go? Trying to see if there's anything else with thermo logic. I think that's pretty much done. This square could be anything, really. This square, I mean, it's got to be small, but it could really be anything. 8 logic. There might be more with 8 logic. Somewhat restricted here. But I don't think there's much else, because this cell right here kind of ruins it. Sevens in those two cells. Seven in those two cells. All right, let's look at the sixes. Sixes in those two cells. And this could skip the 6, right? It could go 5, 7. I don't see much wrong with that. Alright, let's look at 4s. I feel like I'm not going to get much out of regular Sudoku in this puzzle, but I will keep looking. 2, 3, and 4 are missing in this row. This can only be a 2 or a 4. That could be anything. Nine. Oh, 9 is restricted to those two spots. What about 1? Ah! 1 in this row has got to go there. Okay. And now we're missing 9, 2, and 4. And 5. So I believe that makes this a 9, 5 pair. And this a 2, 4 pair by that same logic. And then 5 somewhere in one of these two cells. I don't see like 5-9 pairs lining up or anything. Yet, at least. One in there is restricted. Oh, 1 and 2 both see this cell. So what else can it be? Only 3, I think? Yeah. Now this becomes a 1-2 pair. Interesting. Surely that 3 does something. It does. Three somewhere in here. I guess I'll write it down. It's not super important though. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are missing. Oh, actually, 8 here has got to go up here. So this becomes a 8 something pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the 7 in the square gets restricted. Alright, I feel like it's falling down now. Now that's a 6, that's a 5, that's a 6. And now that's gotta be a 6. And now that's a 6 just by Sudoku. Doesn't affect the Thermo logic yet. Alright, what's the other number? I was just looking at 7s. Yeah, I don't see much with 7s. Let's look at the real logic for this. I'm missing a 2. And I'm missing 6. Nothing immediately apparent about that. This one I'm missing a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Five's in the square. That gets me a 1 as well as a 3. Ooh, that's a lot of stuff, actually. That is a lot of stuff. That was very nice. Alright, let's go back to the 1s here for a second. I can finish those, I think. And then I was just talking about 3s. Maybe not yet. Close on them, though. Twos in this square must be here. Which gives a 4 and a 3. That still doesn't really do anything with thermos, but that does give a 2 here. And a 2 here. And a 2 here. And I think that's where that trail ends, because 2 can be in either of those. But that displaced the pencil marks for a 3. which gives a 3 here. Yeah, that should be the end, or close to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4 missing. And now 4 can only go here in the square. 4 can go there. Yeah, nothing more with the Thermo logic that I can see, because that's a 3 or 4. So this is also a 3 or 4. Which there will probably be some clever way to figure out. 3s and 9s in there. So is there anything more with 9s? Kind of, almost. There's like this X-wing here, so 9 is in one of those two spots. Oh, and 7 is missing in this row, so that's got to be the 7. Okay. That's good. Good info. So that's a 9, that's a 3. Yeah, it keeps feeling like I'm about to get it. And that's the last 3 in the grid. Which is very reassuring. It's looking like it should be done now. That's all the 9s. Can I finish up the 2s yet? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in this square is gettable. That gives me this 7 and this 8. And this 8. It should be good to go here. I'm missing a 2 in there, 2 in there. And then just gotta finish off these 6s. That was a 16-minute puzzle. I don't have too much time today, but maybe I'll look at one more. Another crop key. I love me some crop key. A white dot means that the neighboring digits are consecutive, like 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and so on. Black dot indicates that one of these digits is twice as big as the others. So 1, 2, or 3, 6, 2, 4, 4, 8. All possible dots are given. So the big thing here is that this can't be 3, 6, 3, 6. Wait, can it? That seems not right. Could this really be 3, 6, 3, 6? Huh. This might be a tricky one then. All possible dots are given. It does feel like this is important. Can things repeat in a crop key? I mean, if these were all in the same cell, I could conclude that it's 1, 2, 4, and 8. But I feel like I can't conclude anything from this. I might look at the hint, because Oh, negative constraint. Okay. Yeah. There would have to be a dot here if they were all 3 4s. Okay. Right, that makes sense. How do I uncheck these? There we go. So this has to be 1, 2, 4, 8, or the other way around. So this would be 1, 2, 4, 8. This is either 1 or 8. And this is 2 and 4. And since 2 and 4 are accounted for, this has to be 3, 6. So that's how you start the puzzle. This is either 2, 4, 5, 7. Yeah, that doesn't seem that great. Okay, let's go back here. This can't be 3. It could be 1. 5. Interesting. That seems pretty limited, but I can't think of how to get it more limited. This is either 2, 7, or 9. That's a bit of a mess. 2 and 4 hitting this cell, but it could go... Wait, could it go 1, 2? Yeah. I don't see why this can't be 1, 2 in some order. Well, in the order of this being 1 and this being 2. This can't be 1 or 8, so this is 2, 4, 3, 6. And this is either 1, 8, 3, 6. This can't be 3 or 6 in any order. Because it would conflict. A 5 can't go in a black dot because you can't have a 10. A 7 can't go in a black dot. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. And now whether or not this is 2 or 4, it would have to go to 3, because 6 is 2 digits away. So this is a 3. This is a 6. Okay, now we're in the realm of possibility for this to have a solution. So it could be 2 going to 1, 4 going to 2, 2 going to 4, 4 going to 8. Does that affect this at all? I don't think so. That I can see anyways. This can't be 1, 2 now because of the 2, 4 pair. And it can't be 3... It can't be 4, 5 because of the 4. So it has to be 6, 7, or 8 in some order. And there's definitely an 8 in there. So this can't be an 8. That's a 1, 2, 4, 8. This can't be 2 anymore. This has to be 1 because 5 is too far away. And now where does 5 go? That doesn't look immediately useful. But that is a lot of numbers, which is something that I like to see. 8 can't go next to the 4, so 8 is somewhere in these 3 cells. I can't see anything else with the negative restriction, though. I want to keep going this way. I just don't see how it works. This could still be pretty much anything. It can't be greater than 8. I mean, it can't be a 9 in there. Since 8 is in here, 8 is somewhere in here. Presumably that's helpful in some way. This 6 negates the 3-6 possibility in here. So that's 1, 2, 4, 8. This can't be 1 because it would force 2 2s in the same cell. I can't tell if that's useful yet. Ones kind of have a non-consecutive thing going on with 2s here, which does affect this cell. But I don't really see it doing much more. 3 similarly in this region is affected. I think I should keep looking at the dots. This can't be 2 going down to 1. This can't be a 1. Okay, this is where I think it starts to get into the useful information sphere. Because if this is a 1, it would force 2 1s here. If this was a 2... Well, first off, now there's definitely a 4 in here, so there's definitely a 4 in these cells. Which is probably useful in some way. Although I'm not sure how yet. One is there. If it's 2 4. All I know for sure from this is the 4s. If there's a 2 in here, it's got to be connected to a 1 in one of these spots. If there's an 8 in here, it's either connected to a 7 or 9, which doesn't help as much. If this was a 4, this can't be a 3, so it'd have to be a 5. But that's like such a nothing. This can't be a 2. So it's either a 3-6 pair or 4-8. Well, the 4 can't go in there. So it would be exactly 4 here, exactly 8 here. Wow, this is a really tricky one. Or maybe I'm just not seeing the break-in again. If I could figure out what this is, it would help me ascertain what this is. Because if this was a 3-6, this would have to be a 1, 2, 4, 8 in some order. But even that is still pretty open. All my numbers are like stuck to each other there. So I keep looking at Sudoku, but there's nothing. Seven and nine both aren't really restricted in that square. Is there a name for like Sudoku squares or whatever? Cells are like the individual, like these things. I just call them squares. Oh, box, right? It says it right over there. I'm such a big fan. Whether this is a 7 or a 9, it decides what these will be and forces a 7 or a 9 over there. Ones are somewhere in here. If the 1 is in here, it forces a 2 next to it. This can't be a 2 because it would force a 1 there. Wait. Does this get me a 1-2 pair? This is such cool logic, actually. Look at how the 1 affects this. This can't be a 2 here. So the 2 has to be in here, and it can't be next to the 1. So there's a 2 in one of these two spots. And now there's a 2 in one of these three spots. So if there was a 2 here, it would force a 1 here. So this can't be a 2. If there was a 1 here, I mean, I guess this could still be a 2-3 pair. Okay, maybe not quite as big as I thought, but still nice. I was hoping I could get a 1-2 pair. Not quite as strong as that, but still pretty good. I now have a pretty solid idea where the 2s will end up, at least in this area. Oh boy. Anything else I could ascertain? Uh, I'm just looking at like the 3 negative constraint with this, but it's really nothing. And the square is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. It's awful. I guess I'll write it down. You're capable of anything. The square is capable of anything. I wish it was more limited. I mean, this domino seems important because look how many white dots there are. I feel like I'm just staring. I might look at another hint here. Six, column 4 and 5 cannot be 3, 6, or have 8, so let's have 2 on, and row 6, column 3 cannot be 6. There must be a 2 in row 6, column 4 and 5. Row 5, column 7. This is like written out in a confusing way, I feel like. There must be a 2 in row 6, column 4 and 5. Why must there be a 2? Can't it be 4, 8 still? I feel like the only... I mean, is it saying that there must be a 2 in here? Hold on. 6 column 4 or 5 cannot have 3, 6, or have 8. Wait, why can't it have 8? Wait, why can't it have 8? Why can't it have 8? Wait, actually, why can't it have 8? Is it this thing? Okay, row 5, 6, column 3 must be 3, 6, and 5 can be placed in box 4. Wait, 5 can be placed? What? Okay, hold on. The black dots in row 3, 4, column 1, 2 must be a sequence of 4 different digits, or else there would be a dot between row 3, column 1, 2. So row 3, column 1, 2 are A1, and 1 cannot be in row 3, C1. Wait, now I don't even remember how I started this puzzle. One cannot be in row 3, column 1. Oh, right. I figured this out earlier because it would port 2 2s. They just didn't say that part. Okay, row 5, 6, column 3 must now be 3, 6, and 5 can be placed in box 4. What do you mean 5 can be placed? How are you placing 5? Row 5, column 2 cannot be 8, or there would be a dot between row 5, column 1 and 2. How do you place the 5 in box 4? Is this a broken puzzle or am I just tired? Why is it saying 5 can be placed? This is hint number 2. Oh, because it's consecutive with 4. I wish they would just actually, like, write out why, because it's just so confusing. And they just force you to guess. And now we have 7, 8, 9 left. Wait, let's just go back to the rules, I guess. 7, 8, and 9. Oh, and 7 can't be next to this. Can I finish that? I don't know. Does the 5 do anything? Not really. Oh man. That negative constraint is kind of annoying. Because, like, who's gonna remember that? Yeah, 6 restricts 7s, but I don't really see any other way to figure out the rest of that box. So I guess I'll have to look outside of it. Alright, whatever. Let's go back to the hint. Row 6, column 4 or 5 cannot be 3, 6, or have 8. Right, why can't this have 8? That's what I was just trying to figure out. Row 6, column 3 cannot be 6. Row 6, column 4 and 5, so that's these two cells. They can't have an 8 in there. Um... Can I get a works cited? Why can't that be 8s? 8, 4 just seems valid. 8, 4, and then this is a 3, 6 in some order. The 3 links to the 4 links to the 8. This is a 7 or a 9, this is an 8. 8 lives somewhere up there. And then this is a 7 or a 9, and this is a 7 or a 9. That seems fine. Now there must be a... I don't get why it's saying that this can't be 8. Or have 8. Or have 8. 8, 4. What's breaking here? Oh man, that's abstract because this 8 can't have a 7 or a 9 there. So this cell can't be 8. So this cell can't be 8. Is that right? If this cell's 8, then this can't be 9 because it would force an 8 there. So this has to be the 8. That really makes no sense to me, that there's logic that complex and they just glaze right over it. Like, yeah, obviously that can't be 8. What do you mean that could be 8? Bro, obviously it's not gonna be 8. Just do the calculations. What do you mean? There's a 2 somewhere in here, so the 1 in this is restricted. Ah, man. Why not just start with the logic that this square can't be a 8? Because it would force all that. So this is an 8. So it's a 9. Because it can't be a 7 because it's next to a 6. So it's a 9. And that's an 8. And that's a 7. So all that gets me this. And now this is a 9. And now 6 is missing from here. I don't think 6 can go in here because it would force a 5 or a 7. So 6 is somewhere on the outs for this logic. Yeah, that has to have a 2 in it. So this is either 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Can't be a 4. But it definitely has a 2 in there. And it could have a 1. I don't see any other logic here. 6s get so unaffected, they're pushed over. Alright, I guess I'll keep looking at the dots here. The Dippin' Dots. 2, 4, 8. No matter what, definitely a 4 in there. Let's go back to this. Six here would force a 5 or a 7 in there, which doesn't seem that impossible to me. 5 forms this weird tetromino in there because of the non-consecutive thing. It's almost like pseudo non-consecutive if you think about it. And then you just have to remember that 3, 6, and 4, 8 rule, because those ones are exclusive to this sort of puzzle. So 4 in here is somewhere in there. Except it can't be in there, because that would force an 8 to the side of it. So 4 is in one of these exact spots. Can't be next to the 3, though. So 4 is in one of those 3 spots. I don't know how worth that is to write down. Oh my, you guys! In row 7, 4 is in one of 6 spots. I gotta stop looking at Sudoku logic, I say as I look at Sudoku logic. Alright, we've got a pretty big chain here. Could this be 3, 2, 1? This has to be greater than 5, which really only excludes 3, which doesn't matter yet. That's fun. If only there was some way of getting 5 out of this possibility. Like 1, 2, 4, 5. I mean, it seems pretty specific if that's a 1, 2, 4, 5. But I really don't see much with it. 1, 2, 9, 8. This is either 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I should write it down. All right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This can't be a 4. This can't be a 3. Could still be a 4 though, because it could be 4 into 3. If this were a 3, I feel like it would be pretty unlikely. If this were a 3, it would force this to be a 1, 2 pair. It seems fine, actually. 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's something. It's 4 digits, but it is somewhat restricted. Um, this cell is pretty darn restricted. It could be 2. It could be 3. It can't be 4 or 5. It could be 6. Can't be 7, 8, 9. So 2 can't go down to 1, but it could go up to 3. 3 can't go down to 2, but it could go up to 4. 6 could become a 5 or 7. Is there anything wrong with any of those ideas? Yes, because of the 2 logic I figured out earlier here. Wait, was the 2 logic I figured out earlier wrong? It looks wrong. Okay, hold on. So the logic there was that 6 can't go in here because it would force a 5 or a 7 next to it. So 6 can never go in there. So it's got to be 1, 2, or 3. So the 2 has to be in there. So this can't be a 2. So this can't be a 3 anymore. Could be 4, 5, or 7. So if this were a 3, this would have to be a 6. Seems fine. 1, 2 pair. This would have to be the 1 because I need to fit a 3 in there. Well, the 3 could go down there. Ah, man, this is messy. Soccer reference. The joke there is that there's a guy that plays soccer whose name is Messi. I feel like I could get this. I don't know though. Probably not yet. Right, so 1 can't go in there because it would force a 1-2 pair. So this is 2, 4, and 8. And there's... Is there definitely a 2 in here? Yes. So there's definitely a 1 following the 2. Or it could be a 3. It could be a 3 if it goes here. Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. Another hint. Must be a 2 in there, and another in row 5, column 7, 8. Possibilities in row 5, column 7 are 1, 2, 4. Um, and those in row 6, column 7 are 4, 6, 7, 9. Which only have 1 resolution. They're talking about this square, right? Row 5, columns. Row 5, column 7 are 1, 2, 4. And those in row 6, column 7. 1, 4, 6, 7, 9. Which only have 1 resolution. This can't be a 4. So it's either 2 going into 4 or 8 going into 4. I can't tell if this is just like impossible or if I just haven't done this in a while. No, that's not a... Let's get rid of that pencil marked 1. Oh, actually, that does get these 1 pencil marks to be true. So now this is a 2, 4 pair exactly. Which means this can't be a 4 anymore. Presumably that does something. Perhaps. Right, now that I know 2 is there, this has to be the 2. This has to be a 1. And then 1 is in one of those 2. It can't be here because that would be next to a 2. This is a 3 or 5. Which I don't think I can get yet. Very sad. Whether this is a 2 or 4, it forces a 3 out of there. So 3 is somewhere up here. Oh, and it can't be next to this 2. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. That's a 3 then. 3 is somewhere up here. I mean, the logic is so neat, but it's just been so long since I've looked at one of these. I forgot all the negative is like insane. It does so much to the puzzle. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in one of these 2 cells. I don't know, I guess I'll write it down. And then we're missing 7s and 9s, which are practically worthless, but whatever. I'll write them in. This cell can't be a 9. I don't think that's worth writing down. Well, actually, it restricts 9s pretty well in this area, but whatever. Also, technically, this could be a 9, yes. This can no longer be a 5. That affects basically nothing, but whatever, I wrote it down. If a 6 were here, it would force a 7 there. I don't think that helps much, though. 1 and 2 both see this cell, so this is a 4-8, 3-6. And then this is like a 3-6, 2-4-8. Yay! My favorite. I know nothing about this. Really, all that's restricted here is 5s. But they are actually somewhat restricted. I guess I'll give you that. And we get some 5s pencil marked. Which affects 6s and 4s. It doesn't help, though. Because I already have a 6 there and a 4 there. This can't be a 7 anymore. There was a 8 in the white dot zone up here. It would force a 7 or a 9 to the side of it. And then this would have to be a 6, the square right here. No way to use the negative constraint in box 1 that I can see. At least any more than I have been doing. 3s are actually somewhat restricted. I could denote that, I guess. Because 3s are in one of those 2 spots. Either way, this can't be a 4. So now this can't be a 3. Oh my gosh, it's actually doable. Hold up. So that's a 6. And that gets me a 3. Okay. This solves, but like the way it solves is so ridiculously hard. Alright, now I'm missing 1, 2, and 3, so I guess I'll just write 1, 2, and 3. And I don't really need these marks anymore. If this were a oh, that's really clever. This can't... Wait. Right? If this were a 2, um, it would have to be next to a 1 or a 3, so it would have to have a dot. So that's never a 2. So that's the 1 or a 3, so there has to be a 2 in there somewhere. There might be a way to figure that out, but I don't think so. And then 4 is pretty restricted, actually, in the row logic. It can only be in one of these 2 cells. And it can't be next to the 4 here, so to the 3 there. So 4 is in one of those 2 cells. So where can 2 go in box 1 now? Wow, it can't go in here, because then it would have to be next to a 4, which doesn't work, so that's a 2. That's wacky. And that gets a 4 as well. And now we're just missing 5s and 7s, which unfortunately are pretty worthless. Except there's a 4 right there, so never mind, that's a 7. Where the heck does 5 go? I don't know. But if you look at 6s now, I guess this just ran out of possibilities. No, that's a 7. And I'm just missing a 4. Alright. Hopefully my pencil marks weren't lying to me. I think they were just getting eliminated by the stuff I was putting in. So I'm pretty sure that was alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is still missing. Oh, and where can 5 go? Can't go next to either of those. And now we're missing 8, which can't go next to a 4. And then a 9. And now I've finished almost the entirety of rows 1 to 3, which is kind of wacky. Somehow doable. Fours in here are pretty restricted, actually. Because it can't be next to the 5 or the 8, but the 2 or the 7, I still can't really denote that. This has to be 6 or less. Can't be a 3. Could be a 1-2 pair. This can't be a 6. Of course 5 and 7 are staring at this, which are like the only two numbers that the black dot doesn't care about. I guess I'll fully notate that. I might as well. I'm fully notating everything else. This could be 1, 2, 4, 8, 6. And this could be 1, 2, 8, 3, 6. There's actually just nothing else. This can't be a 3 because of the 1, 2 pair. It would have to be 3, 4, 5, which would break. So this is greater than 3. It can't be 4. It can't be 5. 5, 6, 7. Could it be 5, 4, 3? Wait, this is... Oh my god, this is a crazy brain leap. But if this goes 5, 4, 3, this is a 1 or a 2. This could still be 4, 8 though. Damn it. Bruh. That is annoying. 5 in here is restricted, so this can never be a 6. This can't be a 5 anymore. Okay, hold up. Actually getting digits moment, so I should be excited about that. 6 can't be next to a 3. Right, I probably should have gotten that earlier. So now that's a 6. And this can't be a 7. This is a 7. This can't be an 8. And just like that, we get another box. Now we're missing 1 and 5 in here. What else are we missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8, which can't go next to 7. So now I think 5. Right, this can't be 1 or 8. Yeah, that's got to be a 5. This becomes a 1, 8 pair. Which would decide the parity of this 2, 4, which is interesting. Now we're missing 3, 6, and 9 up here. 9 seems like a wild card. 3 seems like a wild card. So I'm probably not going to note that yet. Oh, but can a 6 be next to a 5? Hold up. Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to solve this Sudoku? Oh. Now I need a 9 and... What else do I need? 9 and 7, 6. 6, yeah. 6 can't go next to 3. That's a 6. That's a 9. This is a 5. It can't be a 5 because it's next to a 4. That's a 7. Come here, girl. Let's have some fun. Did you say have some fun or get it on in the song? Get it done. Get it done sounds better. Have some fun. I don't know. Have some fun is kind of generic. Hit and run. Chicken snack. This can't be a 6 because it goes in between 2 7s. That's a 6. And that seems important in some way. 6 can't go next to 7. There we go. So that's a 6, so that's a 3. And now 2 is pretty restricted. Can't be next to the 3, remember? So 2 is in one of those 2 cells. 2 is in one of those 2 cells. Shoot, I still don't see any way to differentiate this from being a 1, 2, or a 4, 5. This can't be a 3 anymore. That feels more solid. That's a definite 4 or an 8. That seems nice. The square could be a 4, but the 4 is pretty restricted in there. The square can't be a 1 because it's in the 2 zone. So 1 is in one of those 2 cells. Don't know how usable that is, but that's something. This can't be a 3, so the 3 has to go there. And now this can't be a 2 because it's next to a 3, so that's a 1, that's a 2. And I think that finishes off the 2s, hopefully. Yeah, because 2 can't go in between the 1. Wow, what a wacky way to figure that out. Okay. Don't really know how to finish off the 2s. I could still go there. 2 here would force... Yeah, this can't be a 2, because that would force a 3 or 1 in that space. Either way, it doesn't work. 2 could be in one of these. If 2 is here, it would force a 1 or a 3. I don't see anything wrong with that yet. Oh, this has to be a 1, actually. Whoops. a 1 actually. And now 1 is somewhere up here, which hopefully I'll find some way to narrow down. Ah, and this one, just by Sudoku, tells me where this one goes. And now this can't be a 2, so that's a 4-5 pair. Which is very nice, because now this is an 8, actually. That's a 4. That's a 4. And now 4 can't go next to the 8, so that's a 4. And this is a 5 or a 3. Can't be a 3, so it's a 5. This is a 4 or a 6. It can't be a 4, so it's... Enjoyed that episode of Cracking the Cryptic. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out. Thanks for watching.